Good morning, I'm John Attlee. I'm a volunteer at the Remy Museum. This is a Scammell Contractor tank transporter unit. We are carrying the M578 armoured recovery vehicle. It is actually quite a small load for this vehicle. We normally carry the Centurion armoured recovery vehicle that weighs 50 tonnes rather than the M578 that only weighs 27 tonnes. So this is a relatively light load for us. The tractor unit is a Scammell Contractor heavy haulage unit. Its maximum gross train weight is 190 tonnes, but we never use anything like that. Even with our heaviest tank, the Conqueror armoured recovery vehicle, we were only operating at a gross train weight of about 100 tonnes. The tractor unit belongs to me. The trailer belongs to the Remy Museum at Lynham, and the M578 armoured recovery vehicle also belongs to the Remy Museum at Lynham. The M578 armoured recovery vehicle was to support Royal Artillery units using the M110 heavy artillery self-propelled gun, and the chassis on the gun was very similar to the M578, so there's a commonality of spares, and that's not unusual for the recovery variant to be similar or very similar to the main variant. The Contractor is powered by a 14-litre Cummins NTC 335 diesel engine, turbocharged, but not very powerful by today's standards of heavy haulage. So a vehicle in this weight category now would be 600 horsepower. This is only 335 horsepower. In terms of the transmission, it's got a self-changing gears RV30 8-speed semi-automatic gearbox. It's one of the earlier multi-speed semi-automatic gearboxes, and the beauty of it is that a downshift is very quick and easy, and an upshift you can do what we call a full power upshift. So when you're changing up, you don't take your foot off the accelerator, and this means that if the gradient eases out a bit, you can keep your foot on the accelerator and just literally change up. And this makes for a much higher average speed. For instance, the Thornycroft Antar that I used for tank transporting before I got this would average 16 miles in the hour, whereas a Contractor can do 23 miles in the hour, even though its top speed is only 30 miles an hour. Now, when we have a look at the rear end of the Contractor, you see it's got pretty large tyres, but looking at the hub, you see the hub here is enormous compared to most vehicles, even heavy haulage vehicles, and that is because it's got what we call the 40-ton bogie, so each axle can take a load of 20 tons even on off-road. So it's a very, very strong vehicle, and the gross vehicle weight is 50 tons, so you can have 20 tons on each of the drive axles and 10 tons on the front axle. Right, I said that we had the RV30 gearbox. This is the controller for the gearbox, and when you want to change up, you just push it forward, just like that. Each one of those is a change up, and each one of those is to change down. You go back, and it's in first gear. Now, I can't get it into neutral, and that's a safety feature. I need to push it down and like that in order to go into neutral, because if you accidentally engage neutral when you're on a very steep slope, the vehicle will literally run away. This is the handbrake, so it's got full air brakes. Brakes are applied by air pressure, but also the handbrake is released by air pressure against spring pressure, which is a safety feature. So if you completely run out of air, the vehicle will stop rather than run away. Right, the role of this vehicle is a tank transporter. Tanks are difficult to move, they are expensive to operate. A Challenger tank will cost hundreds of pounds a mile, so the British Army traditionally has used tank transporters like this to transport the tank, not just when they're broken down, but in order to take them to the area of operations without wearing them out before they get there. a tank transporter needs to be a pretty tough vehicle, because you're regularly loading a vehicle that can weigh 50 or 60 tons. They're equipped with, tank transporters are always equipped with ramps at the back that unfold hydraulically on this case, quite strong chains to secure the tank, and a tank transporter will normally have a winch on the front of the vehicle to winch a dead tank onto the trailer. Unfortunately, this vehicle doesn't have a winch because the contractor never had one, and it's not worth fitting a winch. But actually, the definition of a tank transporter, to be a proper tank transporter, it needs to be able to quickly load the tank, normally up ramps, and have a winch to winch a dead tank on. So technically, this isn't actually a tank transporter, but I think it is.